Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Cartoon Network has had a bit of a question, which is rather interesting. If you guys don't know, as I said before, Maxwell Atoms is not only the creator of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, but he is also working on Jellystone, which live in the same world. I've never actually seen an episode of the show, but I know from time to time they also do have some Cartoon Network characters thrown in there as well. The series is created by C.H. Greenblatt, who is actually the same person who created Chowder, and nevertheless, the show is coming to a close this year, and in the lead up to the finale, if not in the finale itself, they're going to have a lot of Cartoon Network characters appear in the series, one of which is going to be the original classic Ben Tennyson. 5428 was curious if every Cartoon Network show will be appearing in the series, such as the Mixels, and Maxwell responds saying, "We put in as much as we could, more than was recommended by a doctor, but we only use shows made at Cartoon Network Studios. I believe Mixels was an acquisition. We also had to cut ourselves off around 2008, which is when Cartoon Network officially died." And that's the big quote there. We had to cut ourselves off at a certain point, and that was 2008, because that's the year that Cartoon Network died. And interestingly enough, that's often the time frame that a lot of fans use for when Cartoon Network met its demise, or when the beginning of the end started. If you Craig McCracken and all of the other creatives throughout the 2000s for Cartoon Network all leave the network at the latter end of the decade, the latter end of the 2000s, and essentially it was because things were changing behind the scenes. Jim Samples was out, Stu Schneider was in, different shows were being canceled left and right, different creators were being let go by the network, new creators were being brought in, and this is often why this era is regarded as the point at which Cartoon Network died, because all of the creatives that, made all these fantastic shows in the 2000s for Cartoon Network, to go on and on and on, they all left the network to pursue other ventures because the network was dying in their place. And while I understand where Maxwell is coming from, I don't really think it's fair to say that the network itself died in 2008. I mean, that's the year where Ben 10 Alien Force premiered. That's the year where The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack premiered. Secret Saturdays as well. And that's not really the end of the network. That's not the point in time at which it died, at least if you asked me. If you look at what came after that, a lot of creators came out of The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack to make other fantastic Cartoon Network series. If Cartoon Network was truly dead in 2008, you're forgetting about a lot of fantastic series that came after that. Obviously, there's Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omnivore. We Bear Bears. There's some other shows as well that came out after 2008 that are notable as well, but those are the big ones to me, if you ask me. Craig of the Creek is also up there as well, but my point being is I kind of feel like it's a bit unfair to say 2008 is when Cartoon Network died. Did they have the same level of output, the same quality of series that they had prior to that after 2008? No, they didn't, but I feel like there's a lot of great shows, a lot of fantastic series that came out of Cartoon Network after that year, and I feel like it's a bit unfair to say that's when the network died. If I was being honest, if you had to ask me to answer this question right now, when did Cartoon Network die over and decided to get rid of all of the action shows on Cartoon Network to make it a comedy premiering during that time? If we're being honest here, all those series outside of Gumball really didn't get much airtime on the channel other than when they aired new episodes. They were really mishandled and mistreated by Christina Miller. Like, I know we used to get those Steven bombs when they would air a bunch of new Steven Universe episodes over the span of a week or two. We get the new premieres for regular shows episodes, for episodes of Adventure Time as well, but those shows really started to get mishandled by Cartoon Network around 2014, 2015, when it essentially became the Teen Titans Go network. So that's the point at which I hasn't really been able to recover from that. I mean, yes, they've premiered some cool shows since then, such as the same level of output that they even had in the early 2010s. They barely have any shows on the air right now. Literally the only ongoing series that are on Cartoon Network right now are Craig of the Creek, which is coming to a close soon, We Baby Bears, Teen Titans Go, which is a Warner Brothers animation back in either 2025 or 2026 apparently, and then The Heroic Quest of the Valiant Prince Ivanhoe. That's the only new shows that are airing new episodes, quote unquote, on Cartoon Network. I mean, there is time, so I wouldn't really count that. So I would argue that Cartoon Network is dead right now. It's been dead for the past half decade, if not more than that. I don't really think it died in 2008. I get where he's coming from. I get that's the point at which him and a bunch of other creators left Cartoon Network to go on to other ventures because things were changing behind the scenes. But a lot of fantastic shows came after that. A lot of series that are regarded classics in their own right came after that point in time. So I think it's a bit around 2015 when Christina Miller took over and decided, let's take everything off the channel that's not a comedy. And like I said, it's still done now because they still have yet to recover from that. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys agree with Maxwell's comments that Cartoon Network died in 2008, or do you agree with me that that's a bit unfair because we did get some fantastic series to come out of the network after that? I didn't even mention the Warner Brothers animation series that came out after 2008. 2010, like the Looney Tunes